In this video, I want to show you a long monster trade, a massive buy trade. Now, we did a video that showed a massive sell trade. Now, if you haven't seen the first video, there's a link in the upper right-hand corner that'll take you to that video. Now, what we're looking for is a really big trade, something that's going to give us 10 to 1, 15, 20 to 1. And the only way that you can get a really big trade out of any kind of market is to start with a higher time frame and then move all the way down to something very low. When you have a high time frame, the market makes bigger moves. When we're looking at these general swings in here, we see a market from the bottom to the top making 145 pips. This is the 4-hour US dollar Canadian dollar. We've got another move that is 150 pips. So we can see the swings that happen in a 4-hour time frame. If we look at something like the 5-minute time frame, what kind of swings are we looking at the 5-minute time frame? We've got some nice swings, we've got some good moves. How big are they? With these bigger moves, we're still looking at 40 pips or so. So you want to get a setup on a high time frame, and then you want to switch to a low time frame and look for the entry. So you've got the high time frame target that is really far away, and then the low time frame entry that is going to give you a small stop loss. So if we go to the 4-hour, we're looking for a buy trade. Now, we do have a couple of opportunities in here. We've got one in here and we've got one in here. So let's start with this first opportunity. Now, this is a 4-hour time frame. This is going to be on replay, but because this is the 4-hour and because this is on replay, we are going to go all the way down to the smaller time frames. We're going to take a trade on the 5-minute, and that I have no idea what's going to happen. So we're going to do this together, and I'll show you exactly the thought process as this whole thing works out. So the replay mode, let's get the first candle that triggers this whole situation. So we're looking at a pullback. We've got the market going up. The moving averages are in the right order. The market has pulled back into that moving average. So from here, we're simply looking for some opportunity to get into a buy trade. Now, to do that, I want to do that on a smaller time frame. I'm going to go to the 1-hour. This is just one step down because I'm looking at the market structure right now. And what I'm seeing on the 1-hour is just good resistance here. On the 15-minute, we're seeing that same resistance. And on the 5-minute, this is ultimately where we want to be to get into that trade. Everything is down. We have the moving averages down. The price is under the moving averages. So we're going to progress this a little bit until we get something that we do like. So using the tools at hand, we have the moving averages crossing up. Market is above these moving averages. They look really good, except one thing that I don't like is how far this market has moved. I'll be looking for a pullback before I get into any kind of trade. So I've got my Fibonacci retracement. I'd like to see the pullback into this Fibonacci window. So let's advance it a little bit more. We continue to move up. Let's look at this on the 15-minute. I'm not going to entertain a long trade on the 5-minute yet. I need some pullback. Let's take a look at that on the 15 and see if we do get a pullback. So we are pulling back much further than I wanted us to in order for that long trade. So we're going to do this again. We did not get that opportunity. We are simply going to continue this, looking for that opportunity. Now on the 15-minute, moving averages are out of order. I'm looking for the moving averages to get into order, and this is moving very sideways. So we'll look for a market that ends up moving up higher. So again, we have a level of resistance that the market may want to break through. We've broken through that level. We have the crossover to the upside. So now I'm going back to my 5-minute and I'm going to look for that opportunity to take a buy trade. So this is looking pretty much as we need to see it. Let's see what happens. Do we get that opportunity? Market continues to move up. So we are a little bit overextended right now. I would like to see a pullback into these moving averages. And we just continue to move up. We are looking at a pullback into the moving averages. So what I'm going to do is zoom in and I'm going to place some lines on this chart. I don't want to risk losing this one, as we know that the uptrend is very strong on the 4-hour. So let's actually do that. Let's go up one. We'll go to the 15-minute. We're looking nice on the 15-minute. This is a pullback. So we very well could be looking for a little trade right in here. So we're going to be looking for that. Let's advance this just a little bit more. So this could be the trade that we're looking for. Getting into this trade just above this candle high as it breaks this area. Let's go for this one and see if that yields in a winning or a losing trade. Now again, we may lose 2 or 3 or 4 times in this before we end up getting what we want out of this one. So we're in this trade. We're in a long trade. We know that the 5-minute is up. The 1-hour is up. Everything is looking good for this trade. So if this is going to be the trade we take, let's go to the daily to find a good target. What is a target that is going to be very reasonable to take on this? Now, with a target here, we've got a couple of different areas. We've got this massive swing high, and we've got this other lower swing high that's got a lot of wicks in it. I'm going to target this because it's still far away from our entry, but it's a very realistic turning point for the market. So that looks pretty good. So what we're looking at is a 16-to-1 trade if this pans out. Let's go back down and get into the meat of this. This would be a 16-to-1 trade. If it works, we may get stopped out 2 or 3 times during the formation of this or this attempt. Now on the smaller time frame, I'm going to start my trade management on a 5-minute and 15-minute, but as that trade progresses, I'm going to be doing that management higher and higher. I'll ultimately end up doing my management on the 1-hour time frame. So let's progress this. Oh, we may get stopped out right off the bat here. The price continues to move and we look like we could be safe. I've got an area that I want to pay attention to. This resistance area is fairly nice, and if we get a close and a break above this resistance area, I am going to move my stop loss a little bit. Right now, the stop loss is just sitting down here. Let's advance this, and the market does move fairly nice. What I'll do is I'll move my stop loss just under this swing low. Now with this, we do know that the target is really big. And when you have a situation where the target is really big, what we're going to see is a market that chops. It goes back and forth as it tries to get to this level. So we have a trade. We enter down here and we want to get out here. The likelihood of that market going from point A to point B in a straight line is almost zero. It is very unlikely that that's going to be the case. What is more likely is the market that does this on the way to this level, which is why we want to pay attention to a little bit smaller time frames, and we want to manage the trade according to these swings. We want the market to make a swing and make a pullback, or make a swing and make a pullback. So in the beginning phases of this, I'm not going to be too quick to move my stop loss. I'm going to let the market breathe and give us these lows as they do present themselves. So currently we're on the 1 hour. Let's go back down to the 15-minute and we will do some further assessment as this market may or may not continue to move. So we do have some really nice market movements. We are making substantial higher highs. So I am going to manage my stop a little bit. I'm going to put my stop just under this swing low. We only need one of these lines now. But at this point, I think I can manage the trade on a little bit higher time frame. I'm going to look at this on the 1 hour. Okay, with that, on the 1 hour, what I'm seeing is a market that is overextended, and I think I'd like to see a market that pulls back. My Fibonacci window is going to come out, and this is where I'm going to make some adjustments to my stop loss. I've managed my stop loss using that 15-minute time frame. By looking at the 1 hour time frame, and I'm looking at how far the market has extended, I'm going to pull this back a little bit. I'm going to go underneath this window. So what I've got is a stop loss now that should allow for the market to get into this Fibonacci window as that price continues. Let's see if it does. We may even get stopped out at this one. So this market continues to move up. I am simply going to increase this, which is great because I do get to move my stop loss a little bit further into profit. And we are getting a little bit of a pullback. Now we are in that Fibonacci window. Now I am much more relieved, actually. It is not going to be a surprise now. Once the market continues out of this, it may travel all the way up to the target. So let's continue this. I will manage the stop loss once we get above these highs in here. So we'll continue. Oh, the price is pulling back. Possibly it might stop us out on this trade. Let's continue this off to the right a little bit. So we've got our stop loss in what's relatively safe as far as this window goes. The market is moving up, up, up. It cleared our stop loss. I am breathing a sigh of relief right now. And with this high being higher than this high, I would move my stop loss to that swing low, which is right in here. So our stop loss right now isn't about as good of a place as it can be. Let's extend this target way out. Let's continue with this. We've got a pullback as it goes. And for the rest of this trade, we end up getting taken out. At the close of this candle, if we did not get to our target, I would have moved my stop loss to under this swing low. So we've got this swing low right here. Market pulls back, makes a continued move, and I bet you we're in a Fibonacci window there. There's the bottom of the move. We've got the top of the move, and you can see we're right inside that window. The price bounces off of that. We expect this when these markets move the way they do. You're looking for a big market move. You're going to expect these kinds of pullbacks, and the best way to manage these kinds of pullbacks is to do it on the higher time frames. So as the trade starts to go, as it picks up a little bit of speed, I start managing on the 5 and the 15 minute, and ultimately I'm going to look at the 1 hour for that trade management. We ended up with a 16.61 to 1 trade. We looked at the higher time frame for the setup, and then we went to a lower time frame for that entry. And like I said before, there are going to be times where you're going to get stopped out 2 or 3 or 4 times trying to get that trade to work. But if you're going for a 10 to 1 or a 15 or a 20 to 1 trade, getting stopped out 2 or 3 or 4 times in order to get that 15 to 1 is generally worth it. Now, this isn't for everybody, so do a lot of back testing before you try to do this in real life. I hope this was helpful. This is a practical technique that a lot of traders can use to make a lot of money very quickly by allowing a very small trade to turn into a really big trade. If you thought this was helpful, like this video and subscribe. I show you all kinds of really cool videos that you won't see anywhere else.